And go. So, hi folks, welcome to issue 1 of Masks Neighbourhood. I'm running a series of different Mask games on the Gauntlet. And this particular one is sort of inspired by the Marvel Knights imprint of the sort of early mid-2000s, with a little bit of Spider-Man in there, very much of quite a localized superhero team of youths coming together to defend their neighborhood from the people that are causing trouble. So we got 4 new heroes for you to introduce. Just to note, as always, this is a Gauntlet game, so we're using the Gauntlet. We are playing under the Gauntlet Community Code of Conduct. We're using the X card, we are using lines and veils, which we've set up, and we're using script change in terms of safety. Everyone has generated their characters. We are ready to go into our first session, so I'm going to ask people to introduce themselves and their characters so we can pick up for the trial of Handsome Charlie. I'm going to go in the standard. I'm not going to go in the standard way because I know Will's just finishing his bagel. So I'm going to go in reverse character keeper order and ask Gerwin to start first for us, please.
Hi, I'm Gerwin. I'm playing Isabel Torres, also known as Oriflame, who is the delinquent playbook. She's a politically active youngster who's estranged from her judge mother, and during one of her things, actually stealing from local criminals, she fled into the sewers and came across a crashed alien ship, and has been using the tech from that to basically be a modern day Robin Hood.
Excellent. And then next, Pavel.
Hello, I'm Pavel. I use he, him pronoun, and I'm playing Cyrus Quiver. Quiver is his superhero name. He's the beacon, the person who doesn't really have so much superpower, but really has a lot of motivation to be the superhero. His mom knows that he's doing superhero stuff, but his dad doesn't, and we sort of set up his dad as maybe the major villain. Who knows? Zach Kilgore. We'll have to wait and see. And yeah, and he has a love dog named Sparky, a big black, very good trained German Shepherd that he also dresses in his superhero uniform and helps him on his job. And his uniform is ridiculous. It's a lot of purple and blue, very not stylish. Probably something from like the Walmart for, like, you know, the Halloween stuff or something. We will work on him. We will work on him. And just as a polite reminder for for everyone, because I have a drives to hit in, and helping with some of them is much appreciated. So the drives for the current session are: punch someone I shouldn't, help a teammate when they need me the most, drive a fantastic vehicle, and reject someone who tells me I shouldn't be here.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, as you say, with drives, they are well worth us as a team remembering they're there, because they're effectively an invite to put that character into that much trouble, which I love as a GM. Every character in all games should have drives. Laura.
Yeah, hi, good morning. I'm Laura, she, her pronouns, and I'm playing Jem Barges, aka Nox, any pronouns. So Jem is using...
Laura, we've lost your sound there. Or is that me?
No, I think maybe you pressed the microphone.
So now he is kind of a master of the shadows, if you will, kind of disappearing and dissolving into them at will, and manipulating that kind of light. He has a sister named Kitty Barges, who he is kind of caretaker over. Yeah, that's what I've got right now.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And Will, have you finished your breakfast?
I'm most of the way through it. Yeah, I'm playing Caleb Jones, aka Dynamic, a neighborhood hero, in the traditional sense of the word as well as the superhero sense of the word. He has a viral social media following outside the neighborhood. He is a public superhero, formerly with a secret identity, who has gone public to seize upon his nascent fame and make a living out of this as well as do his things. He is who he is, and how can he hide it behind anything other than a camera?
Excellent. So, when the team came together, they captured one of the five, or sort of implicated one of the leaders, one of the five families of the borough. So, as I say, we're between, as I say, the village and Tri-Town, and there is a rivalry between those two areas, but there are mobster families which cause trouble in both places. Handsome Charlie is one of the bad guys. He was arrested for trying to take the captain of Precinct 23 into custody, and when we introduced our characters last time, that was the night before the trial, but today is excuse me, the day of the trial, and Handsome Charlie is going to face justice. I'm sure that'll go swimmingly and there won't be any problems whatsoever. But let's sort of frame this with an alarm clock going off. It's around 8 a.m. And as that alarm clock goes off, Cirrus, you wake. What is Cirrus's morning routine as they prepare for the day?
I think it's kind of comic as he walks in his bathrobe to the bathroom. Then he goes out. He shouts probably like down the stairs because he's from quite wealthy family. The Kilgores are quite wealthy and they're living in the village, which is a more wealthy part of the neighborhood. And he probably like shouts down the stairs, "Mom, I'm awake. Get ready. Get the breakfast ready." And he probably goes, checks his social media. He definitely has like all of the dynamic channels and Twitter and YouTube like open on like few monitors, and he is just like going down to eat the breakfast with like a tablet and watching or rewatching most recent dynamic video and just like commenting why my friends cannot like shoot the video so well. I'm like, I have to ask Dynamic for some. I have to ask him for some good advice. And then he like eats something which his mom prepared, and he's ready to spend the rest of the day. He probably gets like a reminder. His phone rings that the trial is about to happen, and that I'm not sure if you have a meeting point, but that maybe he should go there. So he probably just like leaves some unfinished breakfast in the and just like runs up the stairs, puts on his costume, grabs the Sparky and leaves.
Okay, awesome. So the news is full of whether the courthouse is under high security, the really bad winter weather with the snow coming down has meant people are on high alert. Juanita Sanchez from UCNN News is reporting on the matter, and then the other, as I say, what we can almost do is you're saying that we sort of frame the image that there is like the last night sort of hero news, because the young kids do all their superheroing on TikTok, right? Then we see that there is in that scene we pick up that there is Dynamic, and we'll cut to a flashback on Dynamic's exploits from last night. What did you do after you had a fight in the bar, Dynamic?
I think the guy was stuck to the ceiling fan, spinning around and around and around the wait at the the bar when I came up. Like, oh man, I just replaced that. Like the heating, the fan's gonna break. Can't put that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Like and it clicks his fingers and gets dropped down heavily onto the floor, spilling a few beers and stuff all over him. And I'm like, hey man, I'll buy you some wings. Yeah, okay. Like, we can. No need for anything to happen, and shake his hand with magnetic force crushing that ring. Like empowering, getting my hand onto it, and try my best to just sort of save face if that guy is willing to, not double down on his aggression.
Well, I think the answer to that story is going to be resolved with like a roll of provoke or equivalent. If there's something else that you want to use, like one of your.
That's a point. I tell you what, why doesn't it actually, instead of doing that and something so sensible, just try and diffuse the situation, let's have the guy spinning around on the thing, start swearing at, come at me for a swing, and I'm going to put on a flamboyant display of my powers to impress the bar. And, I don't think this random drunk is a threat, directly engaged threat level sort of problem, but I think it's definitely an opportunity for dynamic to show why to punk somebody. And
Okay, so time for the show even rolls with superior.
Yes, so, and I don't destroy it. I thought I had a 10 then, but instead it's turned into a 7, so it's a 9.
So on 7 to 9, you name one NPC present. Named NPC must either volunteer help or information, express admiration, or ask for your help. GM's choice. So I think, yeah, carry on, Will. Sorry.
Do I name the person or do you name?
You can name them.
Okay, I was gonna go with perhaps Juanita Sanchez, local reporter.
Okay. So I think as you're describe the flare of powers for me first, if you wouldn't mind.
I think that he drops down and there was a couple of these guys, wasn't there? He drops down, he spills all the table.
He was with mates, yeah.
Yeah, and then like the bunch of them leap forward. One of them like pulls out a knife or a knuckle dusters,
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm just like, come on, man, don't you learn? And like just send him flying, knocking in a big roundhouse swing that knocks the guy up as he stands back up onto his feet after being dropped down. And then I like grab the metal serving tray and like blocking their blows with that like Magneto style kind of thing. Before like
Mm-hmm.
one of them's got steel toe boots on because they're construction workers, obviously, because that's that. What other kind of thugs do you get in TV shows and comic books? And yeah, just take his feet out from under him and leave him hanging upside down. And yeah, the whole thing. Everyone, as they all like sprawl around, I'm just like, bow, and I'm just like, you can catch me same time next week, anytime, anywhere. You want to go for round 2? Just let me make sure I can get the live stream set up next time.
Okay, so I think that's the point where Juanita Sanchez sort of comes up and stands next to you at the bar. She says, slightly hot-headed, but reasonably impressive.
You saw my school report. Nice.
Cute. Look, I think I might have some information for you. I think I know who's been hired to break handsome Charlie out either on the way in or the way out of the court tomorrow. This is too small for the Titans to get involved in. I think this is going to have to be dealt with locally. Do you want that information?
If you want it done right, you come to us, not the Titans. You know? You see what mess they left this neighborhood in last time?
This is a local matter, right? So let's deal with that. And she scribbles down a name for you, which is Full Impact, and passes you a shot of them in recent conflict. They have ginormous metallic fists, which seem to be the source of their powers. They said this guy hits like a freight train. Watch your back. He'll be able to tear the doors off even one of those fancy Precinct 23 trucks without too much trouble.
Yeah, well, gloves made of metal. You came to the right guy.
Great. Said, I get the exclusive, right?
Oh, I mean, yeah, you get the exclusive joint streaming rights with my channel, of course. You know, I'll put you in touch with. I forgot what I called my cousin. I'll put you in touch with my man Jeff. He deals with all of the legal stuff. But yeah, of course, you'll be first to speak, first to break the story. We'll just have the, you know, the up close and personal camera footage. You know, we can come to some kind of arrangement for you to embed that in your story, or you know, link back, whatever gets those followers, right?
I think she smiles and is putting on a jacket and finishes a drink and starts heading out the bar and said, choice is yours, kid. You can keep it on your social media, or you could be on live on the 6 o'clock news. Think about it.
Down at his coat, he's like, "Por qué lo haces?"
Grand. Jem, this would be a school day. So is Jem going to school, or is she going to try and pull hooky to get to the trial, or does she have another more cunning plan?
No, I think that Jem is probably going to pretend like she's going to school, like she's getting dressed, because she doesn't want to be a bad example for Kitty. But I think at the most opportune moment, Jem is going to try to sneak away. Okay.
So have we named Jem's parents yet?
Not yet.
So what's your mother's name?
Paige.
Paige
Barges.
Paige Barges. And so just as you're trying to sneak away, her super secret mom sense kicks in, and you can hear her from the kitchen, and she she cries out, Jem, don't leave just yet.
What is it, Mom?
Say, someone's sick at work. I've got to get in a little bit early. I'm not going to be able to take Kitty to school. Can you take her on the bus today?
Mom, I really got to get going, but fine.
You're a good sister. Thank you. She said, you know, she says this, and she sort of comes up and does that mom thing of adjusting your hair and checking everything's good, and gives you $20 and says, you make sure you and her get something nice for lunch, okay?
Yeah, and Jem is going to kind of like try to fix their hair, because of course they did the mom ruffle, and now it's like all flat and.
Excellent. So Kitty is sort of standing next to you, and she sort of looks at it and says, like, says, are you going to go to school today?
Of course. Where else would I be?
She says, "Oh, I had this sort of because she does know Knox. You are Knox, isn't she? I think we set that up in the yeah. So she says, "Oh, I thought you might be, you might see Knox at the Handsome Charlie thing. That's what I thought was going to go down today. But if you're going to go to school, then she's looking you up and down.
School is a priority." Jem is very bad at lying to Kitty.
I think Kitty looks at him and goes, "You're such a dork. You're so square. I can see through you, no matter if you've got that mask on or not."
Jem kind of rolls their eyes. Whatever helps you sleep at night, kid. Come on, let's go.
Okay. We see you two then on the bus pulling away from the opening pages of the comic. And now about an hour or so before the Handsome Charlie's supposed to arrive at the courthouse, where do we see Oriflame for the first time this issue?
I think Oriflame's actually in she sat in her normal street clothing in a cafe over from the actual courthouse itself, with a little tablet out and basically going through some of the she's hacked the local police system and she's going through looking over some police reports on the trial itself.
The evidence looks pretty strong. The grand jury has moved to indict. There should be, and you can sort of see that the recommendation is from the district attorney that they shouldn't allow bail. He should be taken straight over to the
okay.
Supermax, right?
So is this a status conference today, or is this indictment, or is this the actual start of the trial?
This is the start of the trial. If you want to pick up any other information from the evidence you're gathering, I would suggest you assess the situation.
Yep. Oh. I will do that. Give me 2 moments. Too many sheets up. And what's that rolled with? Is that superior?
It is roll with superior, yes.
Woohoo, something I'm actually good at. He says, dooming his roll before it ever picks up the dice. And that would be a 14.
Cool. So you get to ask me 2 questions from the assess the situation list. If you want to slightly mess around with them to ask questions, I have no issues with that. I'll tell you if I think you've gone too far.
That's fine. I'm just checking my sheet because I know there is a delinquent move that allows you to have different questions, but I apparently didn't take that. Okay. Okay. What's the biggest threat with regards to the trial?
Well, the police and Precinct 23 will be bringing them up in one of their fancy vehicles normally reserved for supervillain transport. The police are here in reasonable force. The biggest trouble is the snow and the storm that is coming in, right? It's making things difficult in terms of keeping the track open.
Okay. So the point of weakness here is actually going to be on the way to the court rather than in the court itself.
Yeah, if it's going to be easier to get for them to try and stop this before it even starts.
Okay. I'm looking over the recent crime reports and criminal sightings. Who here is the that's fine. I think we've actually taken. I think I've actually asked 2 questions already, so I'll leave it at that.
That's cool. So, where did the team agree to? Where did the team agree to meet? Anyone want to frame that?
I think it has to be on a rooftop somewhere.
Mm-hmm. It is cold, right? It is a good 4 or 5 below. Snow is whipping, and you're standing on a rooftop where breath can be seen. But
You have to. It's the done thing in these comics.
yeah.
So I think Oriflame gets there early and basically hides in a corner and illusions up, so they don't actually appear there until someone arrives.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose Cyrus exits the stairs completely out of breath, even though he has a reasonably good condition, and he immediately takes off because he sees he's alone. He takes off the upper half of his costume and puts on some sweater below it, and then puts on his costume again. Damn, it's so cold.
Thermals.
Ah! Oh, I haven't seen you there.
That was kind of the point. Thermals. They don't tend to be very thick. They don't restrict your movement. Perfect for this sort of weather.
Yeah, I have to ask my mom to sew me some of those into my costume. Yes.
No, just buy a set of thermals.
Dynamic comes out of the the rooftop, just a normal staircase that would come out of onto the rooftop thing, and just pushes it open with a sandwich in one hand and on his mobile phone in the other, a big bulky jacket over the top of his super suit style thing.
Is that on? Is that camera on?
No, man, I'm just checking, I'm just responding, doing the things, hit. And then he turns the camera over to you, and the light comes up on the thing, now the camera's on. Do you have anything to say? Yeah.
And I'm going to duck around behind the corner. Yeah. Jesus, Dynamic, turn that bloody thing up. Turn that thing off.
Oh, since you asked so nicely, sure. I'll turn it off. And I'm like, hey, man, if you don't go, getting your mom to make you some clothes, hit me up. I got a sweet deal with the guy who runs the haberdashery down the road. I'm sure, we get some good shots. We could do some promo with him,
Wow, awesome. Yeah. I really need something to warm up in these cold days.
Yeah. There's got to be a market out there, right? Thermal super suits. Come on, in Gauntlet City, we could be onto a thing here. Yeah.
I really need one, and we can see that Quiver is panically hiding the sweater under the costume so that it doesn't look so bad.
Tell you who we do need to get one, and I'll go over and pat Sparky. How you doing, boy?
Sparky has so much fur. He's never cold. Good doggy.
I think that Gem is going to appear out of the shadows and just be like, "Sorry, I'm late, guys."
Can't be helped.
Fashionably so, Nox. Fashionably so. Anyways, we were just talking about how janky Quiver looks here in his improvised super thermals as knitted by by his mother.
Dynamic. Let's not joke about that.
Hey, Dynamic, do you have influence over?
I do have influence over.
Are you telling them who they are? Like some.
Yeah, well, why not? So what is that? That is. Does anyone mind if I just move the move sheet to next to the characters, just so that we can?
No, move things as you make sense to you.
Yes. So when I tell someone, sorry, this is always the stuff I struggle every time with maths before it starts to make sense again. I tell someone.
So you don't actually have to make any roll. If you have influence and you're using that influence to tell them who they are, it's a good idea to let the other character know what influences what labels you're likely to shift. and then Cirrus Quiver can make the decision of whether they want to accept or reject your influence.
I think I am going to move Quiver's mundane up and their superior down.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And this is just before we, go into how cruel, horrible dynamic is. This is with the aim of eventually getting him those new threads and moving his labels the other way around. Like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're sure. Yeah, thanks. Yes, we will go to this guy, and awesome.
Hey man, like here, and he takes off his big like brand new jacket that has like the logo like emblazoned across the back kind of thing, and he'll say, "Hey man, take that jumper off. Here you have it. I don't even need this." Like, and like a faint like shimmer of electric goes up and down him, like he just grabs a junk piece of metal off the floor and starts heating it up with his powers to make it like hot, effectively.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, so if you give me your jacket, I would like to put it on and just to warm up. Yeah, I never thought that this is such trouble. Anyway, Oriflame, like, do we expect some trouble? We already busted the guy. There's some solid evidence against him. Are we even worried that something might go wrong?
Well, I've got a source, hot sauce, a hot tip from a hot lady that says we should look out for some guy with two big metal fists who's going to try and punch his way into whatever handsome Charlie either before or afterwards. So anytime in the next few hours, I would say.
How strong is that tip?
Oh, I mean, I'd say it's pretty reliable,
Can we trust that source?
Oh, I don't know if we can. I don't see what she'd have to gain, It's Juanita Sanchez off the news. All she asked for in return was, that I don't live stream it, and that maybe we go on there and talk about it afterwards. I know how much he loved that Oriflame.
So you've been talking to the press?
No, the press have been talking to me.
Why are you talking to them at all? Why are we having conversations with the press? What if they find out who we are? I can't. What are
Exactly.
You doing?
What if they find out who we are? Like, who we are? We're awesome. We're going to save this neighborhood. We're going to clean up these streets. That's what I'm talking about.
We're going to put our families in the firing line.
Oh, come on. I mean, like, you mean who we are? Who we are? Well, that's why you got me, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure that makes it any better.
Listen, like, who's going to be able to see you guys in the shadows? Like, you guys can do your work in the shadows while I'm like the shining light that leads the. Sorry, that came out wrong. But yeah, I mean, come on, this is what you guys want, right? Like,
I want to do some good.
Yeah, and this is a way of doing good. No good. All the good done in the shadows stays in the shadows, my man. Like, my woman. Sorry.
I worry that we're painting a target on ourselves.
Hey man, you wanted to make this neighborhood better, build a thing. You got to show people the way, and you ain't gonna show anyone anything by skulking around on rooftops and alleyways.
What's wrong with rooftops and alleyways?
Well, they're cold, man. Look at Quiver.
Anyway, while you were talking to the press and doing interviews, I've been checking over the details on the file, on the court.
Yeah.
As far as I can see, the only real weakness, the point of weakness, is the transport there.
Yeah, well, I mean, if that judge doesn't just, we all know, right?
Yeah, that judge is as corrupt as anything, but in all honesty, I'd be more worried about them breaking it out before they even get to trial.
Well, that's what we're here for, right? Now, I mean, you can just leave it to me if you guys don't want to get caught on camera or anything, But I have got Jeff stood over there with
What the fuck, Jeff? What the fuck? Turn that camera off.
A hand waves at you from like way across on the other side of the building. Like, hey! It's only gonna start shooting when the stuff happens, you know. And like, we're not gonna live stream it, but we might be able to sell it to Channel 6. You know, like live footage from the event. You know.
Dynamic. I swear, if my face turns up on any of that video, I'm hacking your bloody YouTube channel.
Oof. Join the crowd, man. Like, yeah. Anyways, you know, your face, you know, don't show your face. It won't get shown, you know?
Anyway, I've got the route of that they're planning to take. I've got the police scanners on, so we can keep track of the movement. But I'm gonna get a piece of one of the TV aerials that have fallen off and start drawing out a map in the snow. So, so this is where they come out of Supermax, and they're going to be coming down here. The choke points are going to be here, here, and here.
Dynamic is surreptitiously taking pictures of this on his phone. Like, I don't have to remember the plan if I can just look, you know.
The question is, we don't know where they're going to hit. That this is like the bridge all over again.
But Oriflame, you said that this judge that is doing the trial is corrupt. Like, do you even think that they are able to handle the case?
I wouldn't trust that judge. She's too suspect.
I think at that point I'm going to. No,
sorry,
carry on. Carry on. You finish, and then I'm going to turn the page.
She just lets people down all the time.
So we turn the page, and then we're in the judge's chambers in the courthouse, and we see Justice Torres sitting at the desk. We don't see the figure that's speaking to them, just that they have a quite a furry black cat on their lap that they are stroking, and the cat is purring. And then the figure says, it is, of course, in the unlikely effect that in the unlikely situation that Handsome Charlie does arrive here, it would be very essential for you to find a technical error for this court case not to proceed. Otherwise, people that you care about aren't going to get hurt. And sort of Judge Torres's face looks down as she thinks about that warning. The page turns, and we can see on the snow heavily. This is like an epic snowstorm that is now drawn in. We can see the six-wheel transport, slightly sci-fi-ish in design, is rattling up the street. There are 3 Precinct 23 cars with it, 2 behind, 1 ahead, and in one of them we see sitting Captain Billingsby, who's muttering also about the cold. It's like, why can't we ever catch the bad guys in the summer? As the vehicle is pulling along to where one of the most likely ambush points are. Is the team ready and prepared, and are they in position?
I would say so. I'm not sure if that might require an assess situation, but I think we're.
I think there's no need for you to make an assess situation just on the fact that Oriflame has already done that, so you know where you need to be. So Oriflame, you are taking +1 forward into this, right? Because you're dealing with the info that you have found. But we sort of see on one of the crossroads the vehicle, 2 pretty pretty much standard black vans screech to halt inside the front of the vehicles, the cop cars. Captain Billingsby says, "Just don't stop, go through." The doors are opening, and we can see goons running out, and then leaping up through a manhole cover. We see. My brain has just gone dead. Where I put this note down?
Full impact?
Yeah, sorry. We see Full Impact leaping out and clunking their fists together. Elsewhere on the other building, we hear Jeff saying, "Shall I record now?"
It's game time, Jeff. Let's go.
No, Jeff.
Yes, Jeff.
I think he goes, sorry, Knox. I work for Dynamic, not you. Then we hit that moment where the team describe how you're leaping into action. Well, before we do that, you are definitely at this point entering battle against a dangerous foe as a team. So we had 2 to the team pool to start with. I'm going to position that by putting the camera on and putting the crew into the middle of it, that Dynamic is probably the leader. Does anyone else feel that they are the leader?
I'd be willing if I was thinking maybe Oriflame was the
Yeah,
leader. Yeah.
If it's Oriflame's mission, so that's the other option. But it's Oriflame. If Oriflame is the leader, then I ask Oriflame, do you have influence over everyone in the team?
1 second. Let me just get back to my. I technically. Yes, I have influence over Quiver, Nox, and Dynamic.
You've got it over Gem rather than Nox.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So I'm going to say, look, mechanically, I think it would get probably a bit. No, we did say
no. Sorry,
yeah.
Yeah.
So no, right. That's a no. Then, what's your purpose here, Oriflame?
To prevent Handsome Charlie actually being freed.
Okay. Does anyone else have a different purpose?
To look good.
So we add 1 to the team. Does any member of the team mistrust the leader of the team? No one distrusts Oriflame. You're not ill-prepared or off-balance, quite the contrary. So I'm adding 3 into the team, which puts the current team at 4. Okay. So, Oriflame, let's start with you as you lead the team into battle. What does that panel look like as Oriflame drops in?
Okay, so where is this taking place? Is this taking place on a main high road? Is there
this is look, we'll say it's on a crossroad junction, about half a mile from the courthouse. You are in Tri-Town. Hey, probably just round the corner. Who is it from? Probably just round the corner from Dynamics house.
Okay. So we've got the 2 vans that have pulled up. The doors have opened. Everyone's piling out. We've got the scene. We've got snow coming in, and actually the panel is mostly white, with these 2 vans and the black figures actually piling out of them, casting silhouette. We need to get the truck through. Dynamic. The guy with the fists. Take him.
gonna tell me twice, and he does a thumbs up to Jeff, like a 1, 2, 3, like, you know, countdown, and then leaps off the roof of the building, going straight for the guy.
Excellent. And what about Nox?
Yeah, I think that Nox is probably trying to create some kind of like solution with the shadows like surrounding the area. Like I think that maybe we kind of said that it was an all white like panel, but I think that we maybe see some like kind of inky shadows kind of encroaching in on the edges, just like trying to create some kind of like vision block for the people that are trying to track.
Cool. And Quiver.
So, do the guns from the trucks open fire on the police vehicles, or are they just like blocking the pathways?
They open fire. They're all these are handsome Charlie's dapper guys, led by one of his lieutenants, classy Tom Collins. They're all dressed in three-piece suits, wearing bowler hats, masks on their faces, but with well kept and suitably well maintained assault rifles that they're firing into the vehicles. It's turned into a gunfight in the middle of the civilian area pretty quickly.
These assault rifles look like Tommy guns by any chance?
Let's say yes.
The old Gauntlet City typewriter.
Yeah, so I'm really curious what would I like to do over here. Yeah, I think we see Quiver on the top of the bus stop, and he selects his arrows. We see he has like a little remote to select the proper arrow from his quiver, and and we see he just shouts at the goons, probably not heard by the above the gunfire, and he shouts, "Look, I'm over here!" And he shoots a couple of arrows in their direction, but the arrows are actually kind of collecting the snow and building like a snow wall, so that they cannot, so that they will have harder time shooting at the police vehicles.
Right. That sounds like a great opening scene then, right? So why don't you roll at that point, if you want to do that to cause the barrier? It sounds like you're trying to defend. Specifically, let's suggest Captain Billinsby's car.
Yeah, that's. I think it's totally fair to say.
Yeah.
We all selected. 7 on the dice plus 2 savior. It's a 9.
Hey, someone want to help and spend a point from the team?
I don't think I'm in a position to do so.
Tice.
So you're firing arrows that are basically building up the snow into a barrier between the guys with the machine gun?
Yeah. Arrow that collects the snow for some superpower means, and then there's like makes like a brick of snow in front of it.
Okay. So while you're doing that, I think the guys on the ground are see you and basically trying to shoot you.
Mm-hmm.
And at which point I'll basically make 3 of you appear, using my illusionary powers, so they don't know which person to target.
Excellent, lovely. I'm going to take one out of the team. The team is now standing at 3, but the great news is that Quiver, it doesn't have to expose themselves to danger or escalate the situation. But you do get to choose one from the list. Quiver, do you want to add a team to the pool, take influence over someone you protect, or clear a condition?
I think I think it would make sense that that I'm looking for the name of our lady captain.
Captain Beth Billingsby.
Yeah, yes. I think I'm willing to take an influence over her because she has clearly seen me do it, and I'm standing there just like saluting and moving on.
Okay, lovely. Mark down that you have influence over Captain Billingsby onto your sheet, please.
Yeah, and also spotting that there were multiple copies of me. I shout into the air, "Thanks, Oriflame," and I and I go to some other task.
Bang, and you sort of hear classy Tom Collins goes, "You guys gonna get stopped by a renter hero in a goddamn fancy dress costume," and they double down. You have their attention. Whilst full impact is not stopping at all for this stuff, and they slam their gauntlets together, and already you can sort of see a huge energy blast building up, and he's impacting it towards the transport. What are you going to do, Dynamic?
I'm going to directly engage a threat, I believe.
Okay.
I think by, as he's bringing his gauntlets together, it's like, holds out his hands and like pries them apart kind of thing, like stood floating in the air above him, kind of like zzz, away. And then, we'll see how well that actually turns out as a thing. I'm going to, however, Jeff's filming me, so I've got an audience watching. I'm going to stage fight and mark a condition to roll with superior instead of danger. So I will mark the condition insecure, I suppose, which seems probably the most appropriate for Dynamic. He's probably covering up for something with all of this. Yeah, and so as a +2, I get a 7. It's good if I did that.
So, which would you like to choose? Directly engage a threat list.
I would like to choose that I take something from them, and I would think the thing that I'm trying to take from them is one of those gloves.
Okay. Cool. You pull it off and look damn smug with yourself for a moment, and then full impact goes, okay, and clenches the other fist, and the other half of the stored up energy in the hand that you're holding goes off, exploding outwards. And I'd like you to take a powerful blow.
Perfect. I roll plus conditions marks. That's a +1. Oh, of course I do. I get a 10+ on that one, so that's an 11. Yes.
So this is the inverse move. So on a 10+, are you going to be taken out, lose control of yourself in a terrible way, or two options of the 7 to 9 list?
I will. I will give ground and provoke a teammate to foolhardy action, I think. Like
which teammate are you trying to provoke?
I think I lash out verbally. Because I was thinking the way the provoking a teammate to foolhardy action would be, I need help. You know what I mean? Like, I blow up, the thing blows up in my face, and I go flying out across the way, and whoever, I feel like Quiver and Oriflame are dealing with the gang. I was wondering if Nox might be perhaps, Dynamic's mouth is, once again written a check that his body can't cash.
So, are you? It needs to be a bit more foolhardy than that. What are you telling Nox to do from that provoke, which is not just help you? They've got to be put into trouble to deal with later on.
I see. Well, hang on one second. Perhaps. What's the method of comfing you do? With Nox, I'm like, Nox, stop hiding in the shadows and help me. Boom.
So, roll well. Take your superior and roll your provoke against Nox then.
Okay. That is a big. No, that's a 10. So
That's a 10. So on a 10 plus, you get to choose both if it's a PC. If Nox comes out and helps you, they add a team to the pool, and if they don't, they mark a condition. But they've got to do it in a foolhardy way.
Yeah, I think that Nox is probably going to I think that as this is kind of as this is being shown on the comic, I think that we're slowly seeing more and more shadows kind of creeping out of the edges of each panel. And so, but then I think that Nox kind of sees this, hears that, stop hiding in the shadows, and is just kind of gets a little annoyed and is like, the shadows are going to end up helping you, and kind of just charges at oh gosh, what's this guy's name? Full impact, and is going to try to encompass him in shadows.
Okay, so you're going straight in. You're doing that, so that will also mean on the 10, one goes into the team. The opportunity they take is we see this explode outwards with the force, and you get sent woof out and smashed through a shop front window at this point. Dynamic, and the gauntlet sort of flies back onto full impact's fist, and then he takes a swing, and you can see the top goes off the armored car, like he's just taken the top off a boiled egg, just sort of goes crunch and is away. At which point the sort of attention turns towards you, Nox, and he says, you go, I ain't afraid of the dark, Sunbeam. But what are you going to do?
Let's see. I think that Nox is going to. I think that Nox is probably going to kind of quirk her head at full impact and say, everyone's afraid of the dark. And I think that we kind of see tendrils of the shadows kind of wrapping around full impact's neck at this point.
And what's your intention in the fiction here, Nox? Are you trying to make them scared? Are you trying to restrain them? What's your plan?
Yeah, so I think I'm trying to throw them a little bit off balance. Maybe try to poke at some deep-seated insecurity.
Okay,
that's
so
the point of my shadows.
If you're trying to frighten the opposition, that's one of the options, and directly engage with threat. So I think we should go down that route, right?
Yeah, that seems good. And I roll plus danger on that.
Which stat did we choose for you, Nox, for your mask stat?
Freak.
Yeah.
So I rolled a 4.
Well, the good news is you get to mark a point of potential. The bad news is you sort of wrap these things around them. We can see the glasses that they wear. They go into night vision mode, and you can see Nox standing right in front of them, to which they sort of smile and say, he said, yeah, but I can see in the dark. And at that point, they again, gauntlets lash out with force energy, and I'd like Nox to take a powerful blow, please.
So I roll plus any conditions, right?
That's correct.
Cool. So that's an 8.
So on a 7 to 9, you are going to take a condition either way, but you then choose one from the following list, which are the lash out verbally, give ground, or struggle past the pain and take 2 conditions.
I think I'm going to struggle past the pain and get 2 conditions.
Okay, so I'll leave you for a moment to pick those 2 up, and then we're going to see how Oriflame reacts, because all of this has happened in seconds. The roof has come off the car. Some of the goons are paying attention to Quiver. Full Impact is mullering through the team, and another vehicle has pulled up to the back with more guns blazing out of them. What are you going to do?
Okay, we're at a choke point here. We need to free that up. But equally, I think I'm going to have to go and help Nox. But this guy, these glasses have just turned to night vision mode.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to actually try and hack his goggles.
Cool. And presumably trying to switch them off, right?
Well, I'm basically trying to take control of them and power them down.
So I think that is definitely well, because you want to take them from them again. I think that's a directly engage threat, please.
Okay.
Unless you want to use your "Are you watching closely" instead.
Oh, that's on my character sheet. That's
one of your moves. You mislead, distract, or trick someone because you can hack them and start throwing things up into the goggles.
I think that's definitely more of what I intended rather than actually directly engaging.
Good.
So that would be a 9.
So on a 7 to 9, you get to choose 2.
You get an opportunity and you expose a weakness and flaw.
What's the weakness that you've exposed? Describe how those 2 things are positioned in the fiction, please, Oriflame.
I think the weakness that I've actually exposed is his comms go through the glasses as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've actually just hacked the comms channel. So the other things going on in the background, I now have access to the communications array. Oh,
cool.
And the opportunity is, I think, the opportunity in this case goes to Nox.
Okay, so Full Impact sort of was lording it over you, and then all of a sudden he goes, "Hey, where'd you go?" And there's a slight panic in their voice. Quiver, the goons who have been told that they really have to take you out are rattling their Tommy guns and shooting into your general direction. You know, one of them has pulled out an old World War II style stick hand grenade and is looking to throw it at you.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture. So I suppose I am probably hiding behind some car, and we see the wall of bullets just like bouncing off, and the wall behind me as well, and Quiver shouts from behind the vehicle, behind which he's hiding with Sparky, and he shouts, "Do you even know who are you fighting with? I'm Quiver. We stopped handsome Charlie. You better stand down and run away."
Love it. You're using your playbook move, right? Which is pretty much a superhero.
Yes. I'm not sure how this will change the situation, but we will see. We will see how they will react and if it will take some effect. Oh, bonkers. It's a 13.
So on a hit, they've heard of you. Which of the exploits they've heard and which label they think applies?
Yeah, so you mentioned that there was someone leading those guys.
Yeah, classy Tom Collins.
Okay. So I suppose he's the NPC that I'm mostly shouting at, because I need to name someone important. So probably him. They heard of you. Say which label you exploit. I think since I brought it up that we stopped Handsome Jack, so I suppose they've heard that we stopped Handsome Jack and that Quiver was part of it.
Yeah.
And I think that is danger. We stopped Handsome Jack, Handsome Charlie.
Yeah, he goes, your Quiver? He says, wow. And Cheery Johnson put out the White Rabbit contracts on you. He seems impressed, and he goes, I thought you'd have been taller. And he looks at one of the goons, and he says, Freddy, throw the grenade.
Yeah, so I suppose if you won't stand out, if you won't stand down, I will show you who you are facing with, and I will equip the arrow with a rope, and as the guy throws the grenade, I shoot the arrow between the guys, and hoping that it will catch the grenade on the line and zip it to where the guys are.
Okay. So if you're trying to take that, are you trying to provoke them not to throw it, or you're trying to disarm them?
I tried provoking them by bringing up my name. I don't think it worked. I think I'm right now taking other action to take the grenade that they are using and make it explode at their location.
Okay. So, look, to do that, I think the best way to deal with that is unleash your powers, because if you do that, the grenade will explode around them instead.
Awesome. My freak is -1. Let's see how this one will go. 8 minus 1, it's still a 7.
Woo! So you either mark a condition, or I'm going to tell you how this is unstable or temporary.
I think I will take a condition. That seems like fun. Yeah, I think I would say that I'm quite angry, because I was for some reason hoping that they will run out in fear and will be afraid of me, but they are not. So I'm angry that I'm not yet so well known, and that they are not afraid of me.
Okay. Yeah. So one of them goes to throw the grenade. Just as they're about to hit it, your arrow hits it. It drops out down into a pile of snow. You sort of see this moment of all of them looking around at the grenade somewhere down in the snow. And as we cut the scene in the distance, you can sort of see an explosion coming up in the back of the panel as we refront onto Nox and full impact. What are you doing, Nox?
Yeah, so I think that when Nox realizes that full impact can no longer see, I think that Nox has been trying to coax her shadows so that they're kind of wrapping around full impact's appendages, so his feet, his hands, and I would like to use I think it's called Dangerous Web. So when I reveal a trap I've left for someone, using my powers, roll plus your mask's label. That's okay.
Cool. So you're rolling plus dangerous, which is plus 3.
I'm rolling with my mask label, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Freak, right?
Oh, freak. Sorry, it is. Yes, it's not dangerous for you. Sorry, freak. Yes.
Okay. I think that's a 7. Yeah.
Okay, so on a hit, your opponent trips into the trap and you get an opening an opportunity against them. Do you want to describe what this looks like and what you managed to do?
Yeah. So I think that the tendrils have managed to wrap themselves around full impact, and I think that they're pretty they're putting him in a pretty tight hold. So I think that his mobility is significantly lessened.
Okay, so they're sort of partially tied up. Awesome. Elsewhere on the rooftop, where we see the camera is just sort of, Jeff has just put the camera onto the grenade exploding, goes like, "This is gold! This is so gold!" You see a sort of figure stand next to them on the rooftop in some sort of powered armor, wearing, or sort of more combat armor, wearing a mask, cold from their breath, and she says, "Switch it off." What do you think Jeff's response to that would be, Dynamic?
I think he would focus on the camera onto them, and I think he'd say like, "Hey man, you don't tell me what to do.
As the camera,
freedom of the press. You know, I got fought for state. I got rights." Like,
as the camera sort of cuts around, and we can just sort of see a blur of blue and black, and then a crack as the camera lens is cracked by someone. And we see another one of the heroes in the neighborhood, Bluebird, enter the fray. So unfortunately, yeah, your audience likes are going like, "What happened?" And you can sort of like going like, "Yeah, tech has failed. Oh, crap bandwidth. Oh, I can't believe that's happened." So you get that happening behind. But you at that point have got a moment to act. What are you doing, Dynamic? You can see that full impact is at this point those partially restrained still active. The roof being taken off the van is enough that handsome Charlie, who is in again, suit, hair rolled up, looking hipster cool, he is out of the back of the van and leaping into the car that pulled up behind them, but to get to him there are more guns and more goons. The ones at the front are covered in explosive shrapnel and snow.
I would like to. I think what I'm going to do is fire conduct electricity through the guns and the snow and all the more. They're soaked through as they've been thingy, so it's going to be like a sort of like slaps his hand down on a manhole cover and then just lightning fires out of it, which I guess would be directly engage a threat, or
no, because you're trying to reshape the environment and hit all of them, right? So you're trying to effectively stop them in such a situation so you can break on through. With how I would take that, or give someone else an opportunity to try and stop Charlie. So I'm going to say that this is an unleash your powers.
Cool. And I get a 10.
So describe what it looks like.
He slaps a hand down on that manhole cover, and then it just starts to glow with electricity, and then it suddenly fires straight up over towards the knot of the cars and the people ducking behind the doors and things like that, and just suddenly like lightning fires out of the manhole cover and goes into arcs across the whole thing like chain lightning. The sodden wet clothes of the people who've been rolling around in the snow, catching, etc.
Being electrocuted by your own gun is enough for most of them to drop it as they screech out in pain. Oriflame, you know we haven't seen you. Nox, sorry, at this point. Nox, no, we have seen Nox, sorry. Yeah, Oriflame, what are you doing?
So Handsome Charlie's jumped into a car.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and hack the traffic bollard system to actually raise the bollards on the intersection,
Excellent.
while at the same time using my illusions to make it look like they haven't raised.
Then you are definitely reshaping your environment and unleashing your powers. Oh, unless again you want to use your illusionary.
No,
move as your playbook.
this is me actually using my powers this time, I think.
Good.
And that'll be a 10.
Okay, so describe what we see.
I think we see we see the bollards rising in comic frames. We've got 3 small frames where they basically go dunk, 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 but they're transparent.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got the car that Charlie's in. He jumps in, he's sitting there, and it's this picture of it actually, of him talking to people in the seat next to him, talking to the driver, and you actually see through the front windscreen, it just, the front of the car crumples as it hits the bollard. And Charlie gets thrown through the windscreen and out the other side.
Bang! Covered in glass, cut up. Handsome Charlie, don't look no pretty no more. Bang! As they hit the ground. Okay. Quiver. The ones that you were dealing with are mostly dealt with the exception of Tom Collins, who's at the front. He sort of says, "What do you do to my guys?" And just sort of pushes his Tommy gun towards you and says, "I'm gonna kill you for this," and opens fire at you. So I'd like you to take a powerful blow to begin with.
Mm-hmm. 6 + 1 is 7.
So you are going to take a condition as he wings you with one of the bullets, but you get to choose from the other list. Are you going to lash out verbally provoking a teammate, give ground, or struggle past the pain?
Yeah, I think I'm going to give ground, and as he's shooting at me, I probably duck behind the nearest car, then probably jump to the alley, hide behind the huge trash bin as the bullets are striking all around me.
Okay, so as you give him ground, you still need to mark a condition, but we will then flip to Nox, who has the mostly bundled up full impact. Doesn't seem to be able to sort of operate their gloves at the moment, so you definitely have an advantage over the Nox. What do you do to finish this off?
I think that Nox is probably going to I think that she's going to take off his gloves and kind of put them on herself, and then like just kind of deliver this like nasty punch.
Boom. Okay, so I'm going to give you the ability here to unleash your powers, and if you get a 10+, you knock them out cold.
Is that wield your powers?
Unleash your powers, which will be with freak. So if you want to invoke your label shift, now would be the time probably to.
Yeah, that's what I was actually thinking about doing. I think that Nox is probably going to say, as she like is about to deliver the blow, say goodnight, and then just kind of be like, yeah. So that's an 8.
8 in total?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so on a 7 to 9, you can either mark a condition. I'm going to tell you how the effect is unstable or temporary.
Actually, I'm going to. I'd like to help out if I could.
Yeah. Troublemaker.
So I'm gonna actually use my. There's a move I've got where I can actually get +2 to the dice roll rather than +1 by using criminal or destructive means. So while it's down on the ground, I'm turning off the actual traffic lights. So I'm turning the traffic lights to green to actually have cars come up. So I think I'm actually going to be causing a bit of a one of the cars that's coming up at high speed around the corner to basically.
Cool, got it. So let's sort of frame it. I think that Knox.
No, I think I've misunderstood the situation here. You've actually got the glove on. You've got Knox. You've actually got the glove on at the moment. He's not fighting back, is he?
Yeah. So to refresh this move. So with the delinquent, when they help a teammate through destructive criminal rule breaking actions, you give them a +2. So you almost got to encourage Knox into doing something delinquent. As long as you do that, you could get a +2 to the roll for one team.
Okay. I don't know how to do it in this case, and I misunderstood the situation. I thought High Impact was fighting back. So.
I mean, I have a suggestion.
Yeah,
I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, Nox does have the condition angry, so if you were to maybe encourage them to really go after and really pummel this guy, I think that she would probably get riled up and really.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. So come up on the radio. We need to end this soon. This is causing too much. This is causing too much of a commotion. We're going to have other people in here soon. This is going to get really messy. Take him out. Take him out now.
boom.
Understood.
So Knox, can you describe probably how these gloves are a little too much for you, but you'll take the theme. But describe how you do something destructive or criminal or not so superhero-like at this present moment in time.
Yeah, so I think that Nox is aware that that Full Impact is like incapacitated. Like she delivered that blow there, and she just keeps on going. She's clearly won, but I think she's saying like, you've caused enough destruction to this city. I won't let you hurt anyone else while she's hurting this guy.
Okay. So I think as that happens, handsome Tom Collins is struck from behind, and their arm is pulled back by Bluebird, snapping the fingers on his hand with a brutal clunk. Is anyone going to? So I'm going to pass back to I think to Dynamic at this point. And you can hear over the mic Jeff saying, so that crazy lady just broke the camera, Dynamic. But you can also see that Knox has clearly lost it and is pummeling the living crap out of this now, by the looks of it, unconscious super. But Knox, yes, you already have. That's enough to take the angry away. So what are you going to do?
It's probably for the best. Yeah, maybe it's a good idea we don't catch this bit on camera. Knox, it's done. Can I use my influence over Knox in some way? Perhaps?
You can provoke them if you wanted to stop, or you could try to comfort or support them. Either scenario, you'd be taking a +1 forward because you're onto the roll because you have influence over them.
Okay, I will comfort or support. It's thingy, isn't it? I keep wanting to call him just the fist. It's not the fists. It's full impact. Full impact. Yes, it's full impact that Knox is pummeling, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think Dynamic will, like puppeteer him kind of out of the way, like sort of drag him out with the thing and be like, "Whoa, Nox, Nox, Nox!" Like, "Whoa, whoa, easy, girl, easy. What? Where did this come from?" Like, okay, you know, he stepped out of the shadows, right? But no need to put him into the grave, you know. Like,
So I don't really feel that's particularly comfortable supporting. I feel
no,
you're
I
provoking
suppose it
someone.
is like, yeah, or maybe, you know, like, I think it's supporting in the sort of sense of like you're done. We're good. We're finished. You own this, like high five kind of thing. Like, you know, like, you know, I guess maybe like, yo, stop hitting me and hit this. You know, like puts up his hand in a high five kind of thing. And I think puts up full impact's limp body suspended by the glove into a high five as well.
Okay, so let's roll with your mundane.
Not very good at mundane. I'm a 0. That's better than my danger, I suppose. That is a 7.
So on a 7 to 9, if they hear you and open up, Nox will be in a position where they could mark potential, clear a condition, or shift their labels.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear them, or do you carry on with the pummeling, Nox?
Yeah, I think that Nox probably hears. I don't know that she wants to hear, but she does.
And do you want to, in that case, mark a potential, unmark a condition, or shift your labels?
Yeah, I think that I will. So with shift your labels, does that mean like you go up one or down one? Is that
Shift one up and one down, right? So if you feel, for instance, that at this present moment in time you'd like to be less mundane and more superior, you move your labels in that way. So say one always goes up, one goes down. The maximum any one can be is +3, and the minimum it can be is -2. Something else happens if you try to shift them in that way.
Yeah, so I think that she's a little ashamed of what she did, and so I think that she's going to shift up her freak, and then shift down mundane.
Neat. Okay. But we see there is the shop front that Dynamic went through, the damage from the gunfire and the grenade going off, the damaged vehicles, and the both brutalized Handsome Charlie and Full Impact. And the lights flashing from the police vehicles all around you as we sort of look down on a double page of what you have wrought. But it has just gone 5 past the hour, right? So why don't we take about a 5-minute or so break there, and then we'll come back and deal with the aftermath of this one. Okay, so yeah, see you in about 10 past. Okay, so our double pager is was of the team in the center of this, and the devastation that they caused. And from one of the shops on the street with a window broken, let's say it was an electronics store, the stereos are playing Christmas music as we sort of see the team take stock of what they have accomplished or not accomplished, as the case may be. Billingsby and her cops are now out of the cars, taking care and sort of dealing with the gangsters that are around as well. More vehicles you can definitely hear clearing through, and Billingsby herself goes over and slams cuffs. I think he probably was still in chains anyway, but puts more cuffs onto Handsome Charlie, who's pretty cut up from going through a windscreen. and looks over and makes sort of a salute to yourselves. Bluebird just sort of takes one look at everyone and then fires what appears to be a grappling hook and is up a building and trying to make a break for it.
Ooh, I was hoping to have a dramatic confrontation with Bluebird.
You can do so, but it would be up on the rooftop. She sort of jeeps up. If you want to jump up and follow her and have that confrontation, you can do so.
Yeah, I'm also. Perhaps, I don't really know what Bluebird's angle is here, but I am wondering if this might be an opportunity for Quiver to hit that drive of reject someone who tells you shouldn't be here, perhaps. But just to put that open, because that's an externally facing move, and I don't feel that any of the team is going to tell Quiver not to be there.
No, if we do look at this, right, I'm pretty sure that causing a hand grenade to blow up one of the crime lieutenants in the city does count as punch someone. Well, no, possibly not. They probably did deserve punching, right? But yeah, so let's you're doing that. What's everyone else doing? Yeah, you can sort of confront her before she leaps. Then let's say that. Oriflame, what are you doing?
I'm going over to check that Nox is okay.
Okay, Quiver.
I suppose, yeah, Quiver. After the shooting stops, he leans from behind the dumpster and goes to see what became what the Bluebeard did, and he's saying to, is it her? Is it them?
Yeah, it's a her.
And saying to her, I got this. I was just luring him to this alley to dispose of him. Why did you interrupt?
Did you see what she did to Jeff's camera? Like, that's assault, that is. That's clear. Press brutality. Silencing the people.
Yeah. Do we know her? Is she like well known, or can I say to her, who are you?
She is. There are rumblings of a vigilante called Bluebird on the block. She's well known in the area. She's well known enough that she's probably at least in that urban legend category, but doesn't tend to stick around to ask questions or certainly get recorded to go on to video. I think she just looks at you and said, yeah, totally under control with the exploding hand grenades and the setting up, which you point to the rooftop for a, dealing with your own gratification and quest for endorsements, I reckon. She looks down at you and said, anytime you want to learn how to do real heroing, Quiver, come talk to me instead of Flyboy over there. And says, in the meantime, you're traveling with her, traveling with him. He said, you shouldn't be out here. So she is telling you. And she counts as an adult teenager, even though she's just a young adult. So she will have influence over you. So is telling you shouldn't be, instead, I know your reputation. You're better than this egomaniac.
Yeah, I think Quiver stands there and says, this is exactly where I should be. This team stopping crime. And yeah.
Okay, so you're rejecting their influence. So roll for me a flat 2d6 roll, no modifiers.
It's gonna be so painful. I have even -2 to this roll. So.
Oh, do you have? Oh. Everyone's frozen for me.
Sure, hit it.
Session, right, okay. So, look, apologies if you're catching this in two parts because we had a real cliffhanger where Zoom crashed. But we just had the scenario where Quiver tried to reject Bluebird's influence, and I'm afraid that roll didn't go well. So when you fail on rejecting someone's influence, the words hit you hard, mark a condition, and I'm going to adjust your label. So I'm going to let you choose your condition. Quiver?
I think I'm going to mark guilty. Even though he acts like it didn't, maybe it really makes him to think that, yeah, I'm with this crowd and we now shot and there was like a lot of explosions and someone might have got hurt. Maybe I should go and join someone else. I don't know. So yeah, I will mark guilty.
And I'm going to put your savior down and your danger up.
Okay.
At which point, as I say, she fires a grappling hook up to the top of the nearby building and starts exiting the scene. Are you doing anything else there, Dynamic?
Sighs and waves Jeff over and like looks at the camera and is like, "Oh man, like, we got another one of these, right? Yeah. You get some? Cool. Like, make sure that like you send that to Juanita Sanchez. And like next time, I'm getting you one of those pinhole cameras in case she shows up again, and then you can catch her breaking the other camera. Yeah, that sound good, Jeff?
Jeff says, "Yeah, but like, if we could like make some real money out of this, can we not get some drones? The establishing shots of drones would be like way better."
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, definitely.
Whilst a new sort of transport wagon is pulling up as we see Oriflame and Nox, and Full Impact is being cuffed, taken away, and thrown into the back of the extra transport truck, giving you a few minutes peace before the cap comes over.
That was brilliant.
I don't know if brilliant was the word I would use. And she kind of like looks at the glove that she used to kind of pummel Full Impact with.
No, have you seen his police record? Have you seen the file on him? He deserved every single second of that.
I mean, you did good. Like I told you guys, you don't need to hide in the shadows. You're so like, you rocked it. Amazing.
Right. Yeah,
Nox, seriously, I'll get out my tablet and basically pull up do the Tony Stark thing of actually pulling the file up and putting it up in front of her with the hologram. Look at this. Look at this shit this guy has pulled. You've got nothing to feel guilty of. He deserved every single moment of that.
maybe he did, but I don't know that I'm the person that should be deciding that. I mean,
who else was going to do it?
Hey, didn't he decide himself when he attacked a moving convoy in front of Dynamic? And okay, we can work on the name. We can workshop the name again. Okay, but what I'm saying is that you guys are awesome. Quiver, that snowball, that snow stuff, the grenade, boom, beautiful. If only we got that on camera. And Nox, the shadows and everything, it doesn't really translate well to video, but we can work on that. But my God, you were great. He didn't know what hit him, literally, because he couldn't see. And Oriflame, whew, again, just wow.
Yeah, I didn't do much at all.
Oh, well, that's what the modest people always say, and I keep telling you, you need to stop hiding your light under
Dynamic. You talk too much.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just right now thinking that maybe I should have disarmed this grenade and not throw it back at them. Maybe that would be the proper hero behavior. And
they were firing on an open crosswork. They were shooting at police officers. They deserve everything that they got. What happened to them was their own fault. It was their own fault. They brought it upon themselves. That grenade would not have been there if they had not thrown it to try and kill people.
Yeah, but if I were more powerful, I should have like disabled all of their weapons, and I just.
In fact, I think I'm trying to comfort and support. I was trying to comfort and support Nox, but I think I'm trying to do the same to Quiver as well now.
Or is that a him sharing a vulnerability or weakness?
It's possibly both. As I was about to say, as you're having these conversations in the aftermath of action like this, do take a look at your team moves. But I think let's go for the comfort and support. Yeah, because I think Cirrus or Quiver is definitely hitting their vulnerability for their team move, but it's still absolutely a valid Oriflame can comfort and support.
Well, the comfort and support on Nox was a 7.
So if you open up to the words Quiver, then you can clear a condition, mark potential, or shift labels.
I think it was comfort and support at Nox, not at me.
Was that at Nox or was it at Quiver? Can you clarify that? Sorry, Oriflame.
That one was at Nox.
Okay.
From earlier.
Sorry, then the original one. Yeah. So Nox, which would you like to take?
Yeah. I think it.
I'm
Can't
sorry,
hear the
Laura.
audio.
You
Sorry.
cut out again.
Yeah.
No, still can't hear you, I'm afraid.
We can see your jazz hands, but hear nothing. You're definitely muted now. Do you want to try that again?
Sorry, my audio. cut
We
out.
can
you
we can
guys
hear you
me?
now. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to figure this out.
And then you cut out again. Can you go back from the top, please, Laura? Unmute yourself and still. Yeah. Yeah, she's going to try and reset.
Okay.
Cool. That makes sense.
And in the meantime, I'll do the comfort and support on Quiver as well. Sorry. Which one was it? Were you using your team move, Quiver, or?
You can do both.
Okay.
Hello.
So I get a 9 on the comfort and support for Quiver.
Cool. So same again for Quiver. Are you going to open up to them? And if so, how? I think we've seen the role play of that, but then we're going to mark potential, clear condition, or shift your labels.
Yeah, I think Quiver would reply. Oriflame, you're right. They were shooting. I was reacting. It was really valid that I show them some violence against them as well.
It's not about showing them violence. You didn't bring violence upon them. They brought violence upon themselves.
Well, it was me who shoot the grenade back at them, so that's semantics.
Where were you going to put it? Were you going to throw it into one of these buildings, or towards the police, or towards the traffic over there?
Yeah, I'm thinking about this. Maybe if I were more powerful and I could have like disarmed it, but I'm not sure. Should I really be here and fighting crime? Like all these guns, grenades.
You took out that gang pretty much on your own. Sure, I may have done a few things at the side, but you were the one actually there fighting them. God, do you know how cool that makes you?
Okay, so let's go with this. My vulnerability. So I think I witnessed for someone, asked to confirm or deny that you should be here. I did this, and you are. it's so tricky to understand this question. So this is the writing. Ask them to confirm or deny that you should be here. If they confirm, mark potential and give them influence over you. If they deny it, mark angry and shift labels.
So if they confirm you should be here and you're a hero,
I should be
then
here.
you mark
Yeah.
potential. If they deny it and say that you're not a hero and you just want to be, then you would mark angry and shift one label.
Awesome.
Okay, so if they've confirmed it, which is what Oriflame has just done, you should mark potential and give Oriflame influence over you. Does
I already,
Oriflame then?
I
You
already have influence over you, so I think I get to shift your labels.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, then I will shift. I will shift your mundane down and your superior up.
Awesome. And now Lara is back with us. Nox, did you accept Oriflame's comfort and support?
Yeah, I think I did. I think that like just kind of talking about the fight and just kind of like realizing, yeah, okay, what other choice did we really have? I mean, we all kind of lose it sometimes. I think that really helped Nox just kind of clear things up and give her hope.
Excellent. So again, that allows you to either shift your labels, mark a potential, or clear a condition.
I cleared a condition.
Whilst Dynamic was attempting to use their team move for a triumphant celebration, but your team move is interesting as the star because it has two potential directions it can go in. Dynamic, and as you say, whether it's part of the show or not, because currently it's not being recorded, right?
Yeah, I think this is definitely not part of the show. You know, he is legitimately trying to, you know, stop everyone on this downer sort of thing that they've got going on about not being real superheroes or whatever. Did you see that? Like, we did more than Bluebird. All she did was break a camera, for God's sake. Like, and where were the Titans? We were there, you know? I think technically it is sharing a celebration means that somebody else should trigger their celebration as well, I guess. Like,
yeah, who are you sharing it with at that point?
Anyone who's, it feels like Quiver was more denial, you know, like reject, he was weak and everything, but is perhaps Nox able to be convinced that they won a victory kind of thing, that they kicked ass, like.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
So
Excellent.
Yours is, do I see you as the person wearing the mask or the person underneath? And I think I definitely see you as as Nox, you know, the badass shadow ninja who just took out whatever, you know, like all of this going too far and who is it to judge or whatever. You're Nox, you know, you judge.
So they are seeing you as the person in the mask. So that means you can mark a potential and clear a condition, Nox, whilst you also get the benefit of shifting Dynamics labels, and you can clear a condition or mark potential, Dynamic.
I will mark potential because I haven't marked any yet. And feel free to shift my labels however you wish, Lara.
Okay. I think. If it sounds okay with you, I was thinking maybe moving your savior up, and then maybe moving your mundane down.
Sure, sounds good to me.
Excellent. At which point, as this is happening, we see she trudges across the snow, which is still got burning rubble, bloodstains in it. But we see Captain Billinsby walking towards you, and she's got handsome Charlie, who's all cut up, looking less handsome, in cuffs and chains. She's a bit dishevelled, but again, the bulletproofing of the cop cars managed to deal with a lot of it. But she said, "I am not letting this guy not go to the courtroom. Said, will you help me?
Of course, Captain. I'm really happy you're okay and fine.
She points to the fantastical-looking sort of armored truck, even though the roof has been taken off it, and said, "I'm not going to wait for backup. I'm not going to wait for another vehicle. No one should have known the movements of this, the route we were taking. I've got a mole inside the department. I need someone to drive that. I need the rest of you to help me. We've got a date with justice."
Oh, I can definitely drive it.
She looks you up and down and says, "Are you old enough to drive?"
Yes, I am.
She says,
I'm going to actually use the very, very subtle illusionary things to basically make him look just 1 or 2 years older, just to actually encourage that.
I can see you sort of pulling off a virtual face app, right? Where literally you sort of like put a beard,
Yeah.
older, switch the gender, it's all fine, right? But boom, Quiver suddenly looks slightly older as the artist rubs it out and puts it back in. She goes, "Whatever, let's go."
Are we taking the other guy as well, or the other one goes to the precinct?
They're being taken back to the precinct in another van, as is the clear up of the other goons. But said this guy can go to the hospital once he's been indicted.
We need to get him there then.
Okay, so
Everyone aboard.
we see then a panel of Quiver driving this sort of slightly sci-fi-ish looking transport that's had the roof carved off it with the blues and twos on there. How are you driving, Quiver? Are you driving with paint the panel? Is Quiver driving sensibly, tentatively, or full on? What's Quiver's driving style?
So I said he's 18. What's the age of the driving license in the
16.
I think it's
Probably.
16, but
16?
Laura is probably the best placed person to answer that one for us. I think it's 16 in the US.
State by state, I thought.
So it's usually like 15, 16 for permits, and then like license around 16, 17.
Okay,
Cool.
so he had some formal training in driving. Yeah, I think we see him drive. He just puts the pedal to the metal and smashes through the snow shields. He raced before. He takes like an aggressive turn with the handbrake on the crossroads, and then just like puts the pedal to the metal. And surprisingly, he does stop on each traffic lights, not to break the traffic not to break the law. But between the traffic lights, he drives like really fast, and he says, "Yeah, we need to get him there fast so that nobody else attacks us." So yeah.
Okay, what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to try and hack the actual traffic control system in the city centre to open up the route to actually let us get there. So allow offward traffic from the junctions, but not allow anyone on.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, go for unleash your powers then, because you're reshaping your environment.
Yep. So I'm expecting this to actually cause gridlock in parts of the city, which seems to be a motif of us, if anything else. And that's a 8.
Would you like to mark a condition, or I'm going to tell you how it's unstable or temporary?
I will. I'll let you say how it's unstable or temporary.
Okay. So what I'm going to do off the back of that is Quiver's driving is exciting as the snow is coming down around you. You take one corner slightly too fast, and then you do have to pull off the route. Look, this is at one point you're pretty sure that they were going to go straight through the front of one of the buildings on the crossroad. So I'm going to suggest that everyone at this point needs to mark their afraid condition, because the driving of this vehicle is somewhat terrifying. And Billingsby sort of looks at Dynamic and said, "It's like, is this?" He says, I don't think Quiver's got their driving license.
No, this is advanced defensive driving. You know, they sent him on one of those courses. Like, he's amazing. You know, no one's following us through this.
This is 3 bottles of whiskey doing NASCAR driving.
Yeah. So good, right?
The vehicle comes to a stop outside the courthouse, where the courthouse does have press outside. We see Juanita Sanchez and other cameras sort of pointing at the vehicle. What does everyone do? Billingsby grabs Handsome Charlie and sort of steps him out to the vehicle. Does anyone follow?
Excuse me, who welcomed us in front of the court? Who was there?
The press were there, so there's cameras all around.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I suppose we see Quiver, like he was kind of afraid of his own driving, but then he collects himself and he says, "So, should we make a good impression on the press? Dynamic, I will follow you."
I think I'm actually hopping off the truck just before it actually pulls up to the courthouse.
Sure.
So I'm gonna actually grapple off onto the top of the local building.
What's Knox doing?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna ask Knox if she wants to join me.
Yeah, I think this will take you up on that.
Well, then I think as Billingsby steps out holding the suspecting cuffs kind of thing out of the thing, Dynamic grabs Quiver's hand like by the wrist and steps out of the car with him and like holding it up in the air like, "Yeah, my man, do you see that? The grenade, the things, the explosions. No one messes in our town. Tri-town for life, yo!" Like, Justice doesn't just strike from the shadows. It is the shadows.
So I think Sanchez puts her mic into Billingsby's face to begin with and says, "No, who are these people? What went on down there?" And she sort of says, Sanchez and says, "I think that's a question for them. All I know is they stood up and helped Tri-Town, and that's good enough for me." And she walks past with Handsome Charlie, and then the camera is pushed into your face, Dynamic, and it says, Dynamic, are you working at a team now? What's your team called?"
My team? I mean, my team is, I know he's about to say dynamic and whatever, and he starts to say it, and he looks over at Quiver, and, I mean, have we as a team, are we happy with Gridlock Guardians? I think maybe we call ourselves.
I have no say in this matter. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not interested in.
Well,
I'm not interested in the branding at all. OC. I'll
Yeah.
roll with
Okay.
whatever people go with.
Well, I'm thinking that like Dynamic is going to say we're the Tri-Town Guardians and we're here to protect it, and then we are known, in fact, by like the next day's coverage as Gridlock Guardians. Because of our trend of causing traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense to everybody? Like, yeah.
Sure.
I think it does, but your fan base has referred to you as Dynamic and his sidekicks, the Gridlock Guardians. So are you going to accept or correct that?
Ooh, that's a good question. I am going to correct that. Let's not make, you know.
When you reject what your audience tells you about yourself, hit a potential and mark retribution. Expect retribution, yeah.
Yes, but I have to roll to reject, don't I? Still.
Yeah.
Believe. Which is just a straight roll. Is that right?
It is, yeah.
Okay. Oof, I miss. It's badly.
Cool. So the good news is, wait a minute. When you accept what the audience tells you about yourself, clear a condition. When you reject what your audience tells you about yourself, on a hit, mark potential, expect retribution. Cool. So it is an influence, right? So yeah, in that case, yes, you do. You'll have to also then mark a condition.
Okay.
And I get to shift your labels.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's essentially just failing to reject someone's influence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was also I've pissed off my audience.
You have done that as well.
So I won't be able to get their help until I've redeemed myself in their eyes, I guess.
That's correct, because like you take the leader of your fan club on, who's already put up a website, which is dynamic and the Gridlock Guardians, right? And you tell them it's wrong, so they then go and put you through a good old-fashioned Instagram drag.
You know, the worst thing is that like I have messed up the algorithms. The hashtagging is completely skewed. You know, like it is completely over the place.
Yeah, I'm putting your superior down and your freak up.
Cool. And I mark a condition as well, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I will mark. Guilty, because I feel that maybe this doesn't manifest in the moment, but certainly when he looks at some of the stuff, the backlash from some of the more toxic fans about these leeches who are, you know, like exploiting dynamic and things like that, and he's like gets into various online arguments with you know, super fans.
Yeah, you just sort of see the leader of your fan club. I'll need a hashtag, a studio name for the minute, but we sort of see behind the frame, and it's Zane Billingsby, who's looking really pissed off because he thought you were cool and down with things, and now you're hanging out with like that Knox. They're really not into you anymore. So your fan club has turned. Anyway, you're sort of led through the crowd, and we sort of see the courtroom scene, and sort of Billingsby sort of says, as she takes you in, so this isn't a place for people in masks. I'm afraid you've done all you can. We'll take it from here.
Yeah.
Very good, Captain. We are there when you need us, and yeah, we are hoping for the best.
So Miss Sanchez, like dynamic will go off. So Miss Sanchez, like you mentioned something about a TV interview, or you know, like we could come down to the studio.
So sure, you and your team, we'd be happy to take you out for an interview. Look, it's always better if you're out in the outside for interviews like this, right? He looks up and down, and especially at Quiver's costume, and says, good lighting can help, right? So why don't we meet back at where the showdown took place, unless you've got like a super secret headquarters or team base that we could do things. They always go down well as well.
Yeah.
I said, look, let's meet tomorrow. Let's see, I've got to cover this first. And she heads into the courtroom. Oriflame, Knox, where did you go? After this? Are you going into the courtroom in CVID, or are you disappearing?
Well, I don't know who Jem is. I know.
Yeah.
I know Knox, but I don't know Jem.
So what's Oriflame doing then?
I think it's up to the roof, and the hood comes down, the bandana comes down, and What do you think the odds of him actually being convicted are?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard rumblings about that judge. They seem, I don't know. She seems like she might be under somebody's thumb.
She's definitely not straight. No. I should do something.
I mean, we can, as supers, we can only take it so far.
No,
I mean, at some point, the system.
You can't trust the system. The system's run by those who want to take advantage of it. It just crushes the little people. I don't know. He's going to get off. The censored is going to get off. Because I realise this is a PG-13 comic, isn't it? Rather than... I think I've had my one F-bomb of the day. Do I... I wonder if there's any way to cause a mistrial and actually have it... have a different judge put in place.
Do you have someone in mind?
I don't know. I don't know how to do this. The problem is the judge, but I don't want to hurt. I don't want to damage her. I don't want to hurt her.
Out of character question. Like, Jen knows you from the bookstore that
Oh yes,
we frequent, right?
Yes, you know my name, my surname Torrance.
Okay.
Torres, sorry. It's the same surname as the judge.
Yeah, so I think that Jem maybe picks up on that and is like, yeah, your mom, right? Or some relation to you, right?
Some relation, yes.
Yeah, I think that might be the pierce that mask move. What does that roll with?
It rolls with mundane.
I see. So that is a 7 then.
So you get to ask one question from the Pierce the Mask questions.
Let me find that. Yeah, I guess, what do you want me to do to, like, help?
I'm looking for a way that I can actually throw the trial so that they'd have to entirely redo the trial, but without hurting my mother, without politically or criminally causing damage to my mother.
Yeah,
so I'm looking for advice and.
Yeah, so I think that Knox is gonna kind of like look off in like in the general direction of the courtroom and just say, you know, if we had any idea who was actually who was actually pulling the strings here, I think that might redeem your mother in some way, shape, or form. I mean, coercion, right? Blackmail? Question mark. Unless you think that she's actually...
I don't know if she's being paid or if she's being blackmailed. We got an awful lot of money very quickly when I was growing up, and yeah, I don't know where it came from.
Well, maybe we ought to find out. Do some sleuthing.
And I'm going to reach into my utility belt, because of course I have a utility belt. I do gadgets. And I'm going to take out a small little earpiece and hand it to Knox. I assume you have ears?
Yes.
I'm going to hand her the earpiece. If you need to contact me.
I know where to find you.
And Isabella goes very quiet at that. Well, I'm going to have to ask you about that sometime.
Right. And then I think that Nox is going to like partially disappear into the shadows because she realized she slipped up a little bit there.
And I think that scene.
Sorry, I'm muted. Yes, that is scene. Look, we're going to probably move to the opening of the trial scene, unless there's something you want to pull off Oriflame that is going to try and switch the judge.
No, I as it stands at the moment, I don't have enough information to go on, and I would do it, but I'm afraid at the moment. And it's my fear for my mother and everything else means I'm not going to actually engage where I normally would.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm effectively running away from that situation.
Okay. So I think then we sort of see the panel of the judge sitting, sort of taking her seat at the bench, and then the defense lawyer starts, and the district attorney are trying to make the case, and it's the point where the Handsome Charlie's lawyer points out that there is a technicality on the chain of evidence, which means that the judge dismisses the case and saying that this would be an unsafe prosecution, and Handsome Charlie is set free.
Are we meeting up after the actual trial itself, folks?
Sure. I just wanted to have a moment to maybe comfort and support the dynamic as we are going back.
Oh yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think dynamic, like I suggested, perhaps we're going to try and get Quiver some nicer duds this evening before our interview. Maybe just like a rough thing. So I'll do a quick TikTok montage of clothes shopping with Quiver, and do you want to roll comfort or support? I think you can tell that Dynamic is on his phone and he's swearing at the like he's angrily texting, tweeting back to people and things like that, like about the like the slightly toxic side of his fan base, getting in a big problem with Trimanic 11, Zane Billingsby alias, who is like, it's all about you, get rid of these losers kind of stuff.
Yeah, I suppose we see Quiver like checks your Twitter feed between changing the costumes and putting on and taking them off, and at some point he just like comes to you and he says, Dynamic, you are such a cool guy. The way you engage this like fist guy and try to fight him off, I think that maybe which direction do I want to push it? I think that maybe you're going too hard on your fan base. I know that they make some demands, but come on, show them. But I'm sure that you are better than this, and you can show them what the cool things we did. And yeah, the way you handle this guy, with the first, and then all the interviews.
Well, let's see that comfort and support move, and see how it turns out.
Yeah. I have a question. What's the maximum plus to a roll? Because I have +2 from a roll. Let me involve some. I will go without Sparky. I have an influence over you, so that's +3. Let's see.
Yeah, +4 I think is the highest. But it might be +5. I think it's +4.
It's a 6.
Oof.
In total.
Yeah. Dice were just a 3.
Oh, and unfortunately, I think. Well, describe why you don't take these words of support on board for me. Then,
Well, I think that dynamic is like says, look, right, you know I love my fans and everything, but like, goddamn, some of these people, like, they think that they're your best friend, and they think that they can tell you what to do and all those things. Like, look at this dweeb, like, here, this Trimanic guy, like, you know, he's all giving it miss, but he's not there for my friends, for my team, you know. He's like, he just wants it to. These guys are obsessive, man. And you know the worst part of it is that, like, you know, like, I need these people. I need all of them, you know, like, even these guys, like, you know, these things don't pay for itself. You know, the apartment, all of this stuff. Like, I'm only as good as the word of mouth, and you know, all it takes is some idiot like this to. And I'm trying to basically, like, I think, share a vulnerability or weakness, which is that a lot of Dynamic's position is completely based upon his reputation. You know, like, he is struggling with. He's not breaking even really when it comes to like investment and money and things like that. Without the goodwill of people around the neighborhood and, like, you know, word of mouth and buzz and things like that, and sponsored deals and all of that influencer crap, he wouldn't enjoy any prominence. He feels like he would quickly subside away. And I suppose it is, you know, will you tell anyone that truth about how fragile Dynamic's sort of like moment in the spotlight is, or would you keep that a secret?
Wow. I think Quiver would do the worst possible thing. When he's back home, he would go to his dad during the dinner. His dad, the Zach Kilgore, and try to talk to him about showing you a subscription or maybe sponsoring your videos, and have his company sponsor Dynamic because he's such a cool superhero of the town. And he needs all of the support that people can get him. So maybe we can also throw him some donation or stuff like that.
That's a rejection then. They don't agree to keep my secret, and the GM shifts my labels rather than me clearing a condition of marking potential.
So what I'm going to do off the back of that is I'm going to put your superior up, and I'm going to put your savior down, because I think we sort of see over dinner. Say your father, when you're sort of saying this, nods and says, "Look," says Zach Kilgore, "I see benefit in this," and he says, "Come and look at this," and he sort of shows you and rolls out in his study a set of plans where the Kilgore Investment Fund is planning to rebuild Tri-Town, and says, "I'm looking for someone who can you know, represent the brand. This is great work, son. Well done."
Yeah, this is amazing, Dad. If you can, like, you know, set up a meeting with the Web Dynamic and have your company, he will surely agree to be your face. Like, he needs all the support people can give him.
Says, "Yeah, why don't we do that? That sounds excellent." And a minute or two later, once you've left the study, he sort of rolls up the safe, the documents, opens up their safe to put them in. And in the safe, we can see there is the the bloodied jacket with the bullet holes and the mask of the grey ghost. And the door sets shut on the safe. The team can get together for one final scene if they wanted to sort of draw tonight's or this morning's issue to a close, and then I've got a little bit of foreshadowing to put in. Where does the team meet back up?
Dynamics apartment, I feel, is probably like one of the closest things we have to a base, because he's certainly not, you know, has a skylight and everything, and etc.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think maybe as we are meeting, we see. Are we all in costumes meeting there or not? I'm just like really thinking about it.
I think I'm going to be there with the bandana on and the hood up, and so I try to separate my. For the most part, I'm trying. Actually, no. People know who I am. You guys know who I am, and that's part of the fun of it. So I think I show up outside, and when I get in, I take down the bandana and hood and. Fuck! I knew that would happen. I knew that would goddamn happen. I knew he would get off. God damn it!
Hey, I mean, I guess at least Full Impact is dealt with, right? Like we made them burn that just to get this, you know?
He's gonna, yeah. Full Impact's gonna be off the streets for what, 10, 20 days at the most until they do the same thing with him.
Yeah, well,
This
maybe
goddamn fucking system.
maybe
This-
if we get the same judge, right? Jeez, how does that woman even keep on working?
And I think I punched a wall, and I literally put a dent in the plasterboard. God
Oh,
damn it!
oh! If you're gonna do that, like, do it on camera. Jeez.
Dynamic, not everything has to be on camera.
Well, not every fist has to be in my wall either. But look where we are.
Look where we are. What the hell was that on there today? We don't need to record this shit.
What do you mean? Like we showed the people of Tri-Town that like they've got guardians, they've got people willing to fight for them. You know, like what do you think is going to happen? You're going to lead some sort of revolution that involves nobody but yourself?
No, I think we need to get the message out there, but I don't think we need to
but
have
by whispering it really quietly so that no one can hear
No,
it. Yeah, good call.
By delivering results.
Yeah, and we could do both.
Have we?
Yeah. I mean, hey.
Charlie's back on the fucking street again.
Yeah, and whose fault is that? Not ours.
It's our fault because we didn't actually do enough to keep him off.
Well, why don't we do more then, huh?
Fine, let's go and do more then. Let's find the fucker. Let's go and find him. He's probably having a bloody celebration with his gang at the moment. Let's bust in there. Let's kick down the door and let's fucking do something about it.
Yeah, and then Nox can punch him to unconsciousness like she did with the
we break
Fist guy.
his fucking legs. We break his fucking hand. We make sure he doesn't hurt people again.
I kind of wanted to put the pressure on Nox. No, I don't have any influence over you, so no, nothing. Yeah.
I would like to. I think Dynamic is a bit perturbed by just how extreme and violent, and he's going to try and pierce Oriflame's mask and try and see like all this anger at handsome Charlie, who is, you know, deserves all of these things, but like, why he's so angry about this in particular, you know? Like, so
It's good.
pierce the mask is a utter failure, anyways. So, yeah,
Mark potential.
I do not know why you are so angry.
No, I think you just think I'm bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
I'm getting bloodthirsty. rather than the fact that I hold myself responsible, because I could have influenced the judge to actually make sure he stayed in. Which, in this case, it's a case of you think I'm just getting frustrated with everything, and I just want to solve the problem permanently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Nox is going to try to talk Oriflame down a little bit. Just be like, hey, we can't let our emotions get the better of us right now. We need to be clear-headed.
We need to take that absolute trash bag down. They need to see that there's repercussions for what they do, and that they're not safe. They can't be safe.
And I agree with you. However, trust me, you don't want to get hot-headed. You'll do something that you regret.
Are you trying to influence me?
Yes.
Okay. So how does influence work again?
I'm not sure.
I have to choose to either accept or reject.
You
Is that
choose to
right?
accept or reject it. Now, the other option is Nox is trying to provoke you, which I would is trying to put a condition in front of you and trying to get you. Yeah. So with an influence, if you accept it, Nox is going to just affect your labels. If we go from a provoke and then extend the influence, which I think is probably more appropriate, we sort of see if you're susceptible to their words.
Okay.
So why don't you go ahead and roll provoke someone? Nox switches with superior.
All right. So that was an 8.
So on a PC, it's a 7 to 9. You set them tell them what you want to do, and then you're going to set that if they do it, they're going to add a team to the pool, and if they don't do it, they're going to mark a condition.
Yeah, I guess I just want Oriflame to kind of simmer down a little bit. All of this violent talk is making Nox exceedingly uncomfortable, and it's yeah.
So do you want to, if you offer them the option, then either they can add one to the team to the pool, or if they don't, they mark a condition.
I think I'm angry. I think I'm very, very angry. So I'll mark angry at this point.
Sure. So you're not calming down then, right?
No, I'm not calming down.
Okay. So now we can move into an influence check, which is just a flat roll from you, Oriflame.
Okay. So I get bonuses to...
You get a +1, yeah?
I get a +2, I believe it is.
To
reject an influence.
Because of you got to move, yeah?
Yeah, I don't care what you think. Whenever you reject another's influence, get +2 to the roll.
Well, yeah, you've already got influence on them, so that's +3.
Okay. So that would be a 14.
Okay, so you are successful. So on a 10+, you choose 2 from the list. You can mark a condition, clear condition, or mark potential, shift a label, or cancel their influence.
I'm going to leave them within... Sorry, I just need to get the list up again. 2 seconds.
Second page of the PDF on the move sheet.
Where on the move sheet is it?
Peripheral moves,
around row
influence, 18. Right? Around row 115.
115, goodness.
So you're rejecting influence, so that's actually on a 129.
Okay, there we go. Okay, I want to 10. Clear conditional, mark potential by immediately acting to prove them wrong. Okay, I'm going to mark potential. I'm also going to shift my danger up and 1 second. So I'm going to shift my mundane down and my danger up. And Look, we need to do something about this. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to show that they can't get away with this. Who's coming with me?
I'm going. Yeah, let's go and show them.
Right on. Let's show them that if they keep on preying on the innocent, preying on people, taking advantage of this corrupt system, the little people will turn around and bite them in the arse.
Yeah, let's go. And I'm putting on the costume hat.
Dynamic, Nox.
I think that Nox is just kind of shaking their head and is like, somebody level-headed needs to be there to keep you guys from doing anything stupid.
Dynamic.
No cameras.
Then he smiles and goes like, "Hey, some things, if you do them right, people will know that you did it anyways."
Damn right. And I'll put my hand into the middle.
Yeah, that's
Awesome. Does anyone not put their hand in?
Or does anyone actually pause for a moment and think about it before they put their hand in?
Nox definitely pauses, just kind of tries to make eye contact with Oriflame.
Oriflame looks up and you can see her eyes are hard and set.
Yeah, Nox just kind of sighs and maybe gives Oriflame a kind of pitying look and then puts her hand in.
I can't see a way to exploit the moves in a way that would interest me. So yes, he just agrees to do it. Like,
Okay.
fine.
So,
and I suppose as we will be leaving the apartment, just to close up the dynamic move, Quiver will say, "Oh, and dynamic, I talked my dad into throwing you a sponsorship and coming up to you with this cool like revitalization project, so you will have like all the support you need."
Cool. I'm definitely sitting on the opportunity to say, like, you're not going to change Tri-Town, like rip up the contract on air kind of stuff. But we'll do that at a different time.
the page turns, and we're at we're seeing a private jet and a bandaged up handsome Charlie stepping up onto the steps, and in the background we can't see their face again, but it's the same figure with the cat stroking the cat who is purring, and they say to Charlie, says it's best for you to get out of town for a while until this all dies down. And Charlie says, but those kids are going to be trouble. Someone's got to do something about them. It's already in hand, says the voice. And then we see a couple of panels later where the jet is taking off and up into the air, followed by a further panel where the jet explodes. And the figure with the cat says to the person standing next to them, says, why don't you tell classy Tom Collins there's a seat at the table and the 5 families if they can make the payment. Then we flip the page to the next moment where we see a figure in a room where the room is pretty nondescript, other than there are about 30 or 40 different TV screens of different types and age flicking back and forth. As we cut across the scene, we can see a table full of weapons, and they are fixating clearly on a lot of recorded footage from Dynamics channel, but what they are actually doing here is they're only really focusing on Quiver, and then we see the picture of them sitting in the seat of this figure in a rabbit mask. And the final scene of the comic today is wherever Nox is right now. We see probably like first thing in the morning, there is a beep on Jen's phone, where Jen has been offered a friend request from Juanita Sanchez, the reporter.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
Let's flip the page to our end of session moves. Just before we do that, all comic books end with a letters page. Has anyone got a suggestion for what the letters page is this week?
Dear editor, Mr. Editor, we need to come up with a name for this, the Gauntlet Comics version of the Marvel Stand the Man sort of thing. But it is saying, I'm so happy to see classic characters like Handsome Charlie and the Five Families reinvigorated. It's been so long since we've seen this street level crime in the new Gauntlet City universe. It's all been cosmic threats like Madame Bancho. Since, and it's good to get grim and gritty. Can't wait to see what these characters do. Heart, Quiver, Quiver and Nox, the best kind of thing. New teen superheroes kind of stuff.
Awesome. So we're going to do a round of session moves, and then we're going to do a round of stars and wishes. That's probably just going to take us about another 10 minutes. Is that all okay with everyone? Good. Right, so I'm going to go in character keeper order, and then back on stars, and then back the other way on wishes. So I'm going to ask dynamic first. Again, an end of session, what you're choosing. Did you go closer to the team, grow into your own image yourself, or did you grow away from the team?
I grew closer to the team.
Who specifically helped you grow closer?
I think Quiver, to be perfectly honest. With everything. Yeah.
Does Quiver have influence over you? Looks like they do.
They do.
So Quiver, you get to change 2 of Dynamic's labels, and Dynamic, you get to take a point of potential or clear a condition.
Oh, clear a condition.
I think I will shift superior up and saver down.
Excellent. And Nox, how about you?
I think that Nox grew into her own image of herself a little bit more this session. I think that she saw what she was kind of capable of, and yeah, I think
that makes sense to me. So you get to shift 2 of your own labels if you move into or create or grow into an image of yourself. Quiver, same 3 questions to you. Did you grow closer to the team, grow into an image of yourself, or grow away from the team?
This amount of positive reinforcement from Oriflame definitely made me feel welcome in the team.
Okay, so again, clear condition or mark a point of potential. Does Oriflame have influence over you already?
She has.
Yes. So Oriflame, you get to move 2 of Quiver's labels.
I'm going to move mundane down 1 and move superior up 1.
Excellent. And same question for you, Oriflame.
I think I grew into my image of myself. I'm realizing that I need to be more. Stealing from the bad guys isn't necessarily good enough. I need to be looking for more permanent solutions.
Excellent. And then we're going to do some stars followed by wishes. So, Garwin, can you give me any stars that you have?
I love the tension in the group between the half of them that are public and very, very public, and the two of us that are actually trying to stay in the background and trying to stay off the radar. I just love the actual split there and the tension, and with Quiver being drawn in between the two different drawn different ways on the axis itself. I think it's going to lead to some interesting stories down the line. Pretty much stars all round. Quiver, your character seems very much the fanboy. It's nice to actually see them actually live into that, and it's not something you see very often in the comics, which is a character who is a fan for other people and is very much taking the lead from the other people. And I respect you for doing that, because I'm always too set in my ways when I do a character to be able to necessarily make that switch. Gem, Laura. I just love some of the sidelong looks that you're giving people during some of the actual conversations, and the in-character roll of the eyes. We haven't seen much with Nox outside of the persona so far. I'm really looking forward to actually seeing if Gem is just like that, and whether the same mannerisms and the same things come over. But yeah, and Will. Oh my God! Do you have to publicize everything?
Yeah, it's in the name, man.
It's
Star.
great. It is absolutely great. It's the fact that you're turning everything into a promo and into a promotional opportunity, and I can't see that ever going wrong. And I love you for it.
Awesome, thank you, Pavel.
Yes, I really enjoyed the pacing of the session. How you are taking us, David, through the story. How you are describing everything in a comic way, page turns and everything. I really like it. I really like the dynamic and how the broadcasting everything is interestingly in our story, whether we want to broadcast or someone doesn't like to be broadcasting stuff. I also really liked, and I wanted to see, and I saw some inner conflict in Isabella about her mother corrupt judge. It was really cool. Yeah, I really hope to hang out with Nox more next session. Yeah, awesome.
Cool. Brand. Lara, any stars?
Yeah, this is great, guys. It's awesome. A great way to start my morning. Thank you for being understanding with my internet issues. It is a constant struggle. But no, everybody's character is so full of life and just so true to who they are. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to interacting more with everyone.
Awesome. Thank you. And any stars from you, Will?
Quiver for being, plucky, great foil for like that bridge in between the two different groups of it. Oriflame for being that point of contention and that complete, I love the idea of, we need to change the world. How are you going to change the world without anyone hearing? All by yourself in the shadows, kind of thing. You can't say power to the people and then do it all by yourself. That kind of thing. And Nox for I liked seeing the superhero side of it, because I feel like Nox is as established as in the shadows of herself in many ways as well, right? So like I'm enjoying the idea of like that coming at, you know, actually you're really capable and powerful as well, right? But like you just need more of the confidence in it. And so yeah, and David, I love all the comic booky stuff completely as well. I am definitely going to be thinking of you know, what kind of comic book letters fans on the letters pages. Letters pages are quite rare these days, so I'm going to have to think back to what my dad's comics used to have in there.
Got a level letters page, right? Cool. Yeah, again, I've enjoyed sort of discovering your characters this week. And next time around, I'm going to pace probably slightly differently, just so we can see more of the character interaction and explore the world. So we don't necessarily have a big fight scene every session, because that can get a bit tired unless you're playing a very full color team. Let's go back on any wishes. Will, anything you really want to see coming up or next session?
I would like to engage with the issues of the neighborhood. Quite, you know, this corruption, or I think the Kilgore development is exactly the sort of thing I was looking for. You know, with like they're gonna rebuild your neighborhood and kick all of you out, versus the kind of like local thing, and that tension between making money versus doing what's right, or etc. Yeah.
Grand. Clara, any wishes from you?
Yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody in their kind of civilian role. I just love the idea of like what superheroes do on their days off, like what is their real life like? That's always been kind of a thing of mine, so I'm looking forward to that.
Excellent. Pavel?
I wish I would try to go for some more interaction with Nox and Jam, because yes, Quiver is such a fun boy for the dynamics that we had a little bit today. I will try to go the other direction next time, and yeah, I think it would be cool to have some interaction with Jam, not because we don't know that Jam is Nox, at least not Quiver. At least Quiver doesn't know, so it would be cool to see have some interaction with Jam, and not Nox, to see Janus in this perspective. And yeah, I hope to bring my dog into a little bit more, because it's so hard with animal companion in these games, always hard. So I hope to be bringing Sparky, at least that he's present there in the scene with me.
Cool. Try and frame some scenes that we can bring the put that in as well. Garwin?
Very much I'd like to actually see the day-to-day lives and actually get a chance to interact in civilian personas. But on top of that, I'd like to actually see Oriflame blamed for the plane explosion, and an APB put out for her.
I was thinking of the sort of like the next day, the explosion, and then dynamic, like, what the fuck, texting you, like, what did you do?
Look, I am. Yeah, you tell me you want me to be super harsh to you as a GM, and you know, I give you my star. It's all good. We can do that. Implications, yeah, you getting caught up and it all escalate around you. But yeah, pacing and seeing the neighborhood and the people and smaller acts of superheroism is definitely what I would like to do next session as well. Yeah. But sometimes usually starting with a big fight and a threat is a way of getting the team to sort of get their voices and establish the bad guys. But we will shift the pacing to be more intimate next time. Folks, I've had fun. I hope you have as well. I'm going to